Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, I eat folks. I platter videos, series of videos I do for a while now. We're going to go over there and try out food and drink items. I eat the stuff, I drink stuff, and folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that, at the time I'm doing this, folks, this might be the last sub review that I do for a little while. That remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. But anyway, I'm inside the truck, as you can maybe see, maybe hear, depending on, I could go into greater description. It's not an attractive interior at this point. Really do need to have it probably cleaned at some point. But I'm very much the type of person when it comes to my vehicle. It's a tool to get me from place to place. So if it's not super spiffy all the time, I can live with it. Anyway, folks. Aside from non-spiffy and car interior, I'm wearing a cool shirt. When I wear a cool shirt, folks, I like to highlight the shirt. What cool shirt am I wearing? Boom! It's my Pac-Man shirt. So yeah, it's Pac-Man. These are the ghosts. It's a whole weird psychological take on the whole Pac-Man thing. I personally love this shirt. I mentioned in the review I just got through doing that I would try to look up the artist of the original artwork, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to immediately find that. If I do, I will go over there and put a link into the comments because this is a really cool artwork design, and it definitely, whoever came up with it deserves a lot of credit. For fuck's sake, I'm wearing it as a shirt, so. But anyway, folks, what am I trying for y'all today? What are we doing here? Well, as I mentioned, we're doing a sub review because I've done a lot of sub reviews lately. Witch, and friggin' Jimmy John's, and Jersey Mike's, Firehouse, Potbelly. I've just been hitting it, folks. So, we're doing, boom, Serino's Deli. You can see it right here. Unlike the rest of those places I just mentioned, this is not a chain. This is actually a local place to me. I'm using it, however, as sort of an avatar for basically like the Italian-style delis. Because this is an instance where I can't necessarily recommend that you try this place unless you're, of course, local to it. But I feel acts as a good representation of Italian-style delis, at least in my humble opinion. So anyway, what the hell did I get from there? Well, if you think I got a sub, well, you're right. I definitely got a sub. And if I can grab it, with my meat hands, boom, it's a sub. Specifically, this is the 6-inch Paesano sub. And I got it with everything, which is lettuce, tomato, Serino dressing, and onion. Serino dressing, I believe, is like olive oil. It's like their mix of stuff. And specifically, the Paesano, I had to get this because, seriously, wait until you hear how delicious this is. It's roast beef, ham, hard salami, and mozzarella cheese. Like, all of those things, like, none of those are, like, super exceptionally, like, exotic things or anything like that. Those are all pretty standard, meats and a cheese. But, come on, man, you put those together, that sounds amazing. I might go over there and eventually do some other things from Serrano's. They certainly have a lot of other options, and some of these sound super duper good, so. Anyway, let's take a look at the sub. It's a sub. Open. Open. There we go. Alright. Oh, it's so goopy. Alright, let's grab half a sub. Oh, that's a good looking sub, folks. Look at the sub. That'll be the thumbnail. And it's on the kind of, I don't know if it's French bread or exactly what kind of bread it is. They did emphasize, though, in the place that the old style of bread is back. So I don't know if they tried a new style or whatever, but let's try a sub, folks. Let's give this a go. It's so meaty. Oh, it's so good. That's so good. Okay. Now that my orgasm has completed itself. One thing that I forgot to mention in the previous review, I get these with everything because for me, I feel like that's always a good way. It's a good way to judge the overall experience, especially for me because typically when you have everything on a sub, onions are included. Why is that significant? I don't like onions. I'm not a big onion guy. I like onions in certain things, onion rings, French onion soup, when they're used appropriately. But as just a general accentuating element, I'm not a big fan. However, if you go over there, you put it on a sub, if it's fresh and it works with everything, I'm perfectly down for it. And that's very much the case with this. Despite being a very meaty sub, there's still like the freshness is the highlight of the whole thing. All the veggies taste fresh. I'll obviously get like the texture from the lettuce and everything like that. And so that element to things, it does wonders. And then you got the Serino dressing, which, like I said, it's like an olive oil, I think. You can see it kind of gooping over there. And that's super delicious. It's different. I mentioned this in my other one. It's a little bit different than something like the Jersey Mike's mix that they have. But at the same time, as I mentioned again, that's not better or worse, just different. It is super good. And it goes over there. And the thing is, you have to know how to use the right amount. I did a review recently. I don't know if it'll be posted up or not when I do this, but I did one for Mr. Submarine, and that was a really good sub too. But one thing I did mention, I felt like they used a little bit too much. I think in there I was calling it vinegar, and I meant olive oil. But this is super duper good. Like, it's just... I think the reason why sub places have been so successful and why so many people are drawn to them is because fundamentally a sub it's a food of the people. Like I said, it's ham, salami, and roast beef, and some mozzarella. Those are all things you can buy. You can put a sub together yourself if you really want to. But it's a sandwich taken to that next level. It's prepared by somebody who knows what they're doing, and it's a quick grab and go thing. And that's really why I think subs are so successful, because, you can do so many things with them. They're very versatile, but at the same time, they're very simplistic and they're very hearty. There's something you can grab as a great lunch, something like that, and it's wonderful. And how that relates back to this, obviously it's a sub, but it's just, for me, as good as some of the chain places are, Jersey Mike's was really good. Even like the hot sandwich places like Witch and Potbelly. Really solid places to go grab some food. I'm not lying. When it comes to like a proper Italian style deli, you just can't beat it. You really can't. Because as much as, those places do what they do and do it really well, there's an extra level of specialness to this. And it comes through in the way that it's prepared. It comes through in the freshness of the ingredients. It comes through in the deliciousness of the meats, which I feel I didn't highlight well enough. So with the deliciousness of the meats, I love roast beef. I love roast beef. It's probably my favorite, just kind of meat to go in a sandwich. The roast beef is definitely the strongest thing there. But you do get sort of the a little bit of a saltiness from the salami, but what it's really doing is it's just sort of highlighting the other things, like, because it's acting almost like a seasoning. It just adds to the savoriness of everything. It helps kind of accentuate the ham and especially the roast beef, and it's so good. But anyway, folks, this is super duper good. 2 questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? And when I bring up the recommending part, remember, I'm using this as a wherewithal for, a catch-all term for basically Italian-style, delis around. Obviously, they're going to vary in quality and such, but that's more what I'm going off of. I would absolutely get it again. This, next to the Italian, I might prefer this one a little bit because it plays so perfectly to my tastes. But the Italian is definitely the more iconic of the two. There's a reason why it's the Italian sub. But the Paesano is just fucking phenomenal. So I would definitely get this again. And then, as to recommending it, of course I would. Of course I would. Folks, go out and find yourself an Italian-style deli. Hopefully you have one around you because it's so good. And like I said, I genuinely think, and again, different places, different quality levels and stuff, but I genuinely think, point for point, it's going to impress the hell out of you. And again, even as good as some of those other places are, I think that these are really the ones that they hit the most for me. So anyway, folks, there are 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. And folks, if you could go over there and have yourselves a truly Paesano rest of your life, because Paesanos, we're good, we're cool, we're friends, it's a good thing. Final 2 things, folks. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But we can't do it all the time. I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Okay? It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, folks. Okay? At the time I'm doing this, I'm eating delicious subs. I got a cool shirt on, but I've also got a bunch of scratches on my arm before anybody brings it up, although I didn't mention it before. That's because I got a tiny, adorable cat at home right now. And he's rambunctious. Sometimes too rambunctious. But even though he might be a rambunctious cat who goes over there and ambushes me and tries to take out my eye, real story, the end of the day, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in my life. Because at the end of the day, he's an adorable kitty and I love him. Plus subs and cool shirt and stuff. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you're going to go over there and you're going to find yourself a wonderful little Italian, deli-style place out there near wherever you live. And maybe you're going to try it out. Maybe it's going to be a wonderful and a fantastic experience. Maybe you'll go over there, you'll decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go to lunch here. I'm going to go to my lunch break on this place. Fortunately, I can't do that because I typically work weird hours. But maybe you don't. Maybe you can go over there. Maybe while you're doing so, you go over there, you find yourself a book to read for half an hour, Maybe a little self-improvement type of book, some philosophy. Not only do you go over there and you get to feed yourself delicious knowledge, you get to feed your brain with, I meant to say delicious food, but you get what I was talking about. Self-improvement through sandwiches is what I'm talking about. Conversely, you know what? You can actually do that. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Reading is good. Sandwiches are good. Reading and sandwiches. America. Bye.